The stars looked different from the bridge of the USS Intrepid. Captain Ethan Wright stood with his hands behind his back, watching the vast emptiness of space near Jupiter's orbit. He had been in command for 3 years, but this mission was special. They were going farther than any human ship had gone before. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Communications Officer Lisa Donovan. Her fingers moved quickly across her screen. "It's not one of ours." The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. After decades of searching the stars, humans might finally have found proof they were not alone. "Show me," said Captain Wright. A large screen lit up with an image that made everyone gasp. A ship 3 times the size of the Intrepid floated in the darkness. It had a strange shape, like a cross between a starfish and a bullet. "Are they trying to talk to us?" asked Wright. Donovan adjusted her earpiece. "Yes, sir. I'm getting something, but the translation matrix is having trouble. I'll put it on speakers." A series of clicks and whistles filled the bridge. The computer tried to make sense of it. "Welcome, threat, primitive, weapons," came the broken translation. First Officer Maria Sanchez frowned. "That doesn't sound right." "The matrix must be malfunctioning," said Donovan, typing quickly. "I'm trying to fix it." Captain Wright stepped forward. "This is Captain Ethan Wright, of the Earth vessel USS Intrepid. We come in peace and friendship." The alien ship went silent for a minute. Then more sounds came through. "They say, they are the Zilari of the Galactic Confederation," Donovan translated slowly. "They seem confused by our technology. They're saying something about unusual weapons systems." "We're not even showing weapons," said Sanchez. "We're a research vessel." The ship's science officer, Dr. Ben Harper, studied his readings. "Captain, I think they're scanning us. Our nuclear power system might look like weapons to them." Captain Wright nodded. "Tell them we mean no harm. We're explorers, not fighters." Donovan tried to send the message, but the Zilari ship suddenly lit up with blue lights along its hull. "Captain, they're powering something up," shouted the tactical officer, Jack Davis. "Shields up," ordered Wright. "But do not fire. Repeat, do not fire." The alien beam hit the Intrepid before the shields were fully up. The ship shook violently. People fell from their chairs and alarms blared throughout the vessel. "Damage report," called Wright as he picked himself up from the floor. "Engines at 60%. Hull breach on deck 3, reported the ship's engineer over the comm system. Sanchez helped Donovan back to her station. "We need to get out of here, Captain." Wright nodded. "Agreed. But first," he turned to Davis, "get all the sensor data you can on their ship. If they attack Earth, we'll need every advantage." Davis worked quickly. "Got it, sir. I've recorded their weapon signatures and what look like weak points in their shield pattern." "Good work. Helm, get us out of here. Maximum safe speed." The Intrepid turned and accelerated away from the alien vessel. The Zilari fired again, but only clipped the human ship's rear shields. 8 hours later, the damaged Intrepid limped back into Earth orbit. News of the encounter spread quickly across the planet. Emergency meetings were called in every major government. In the UN Security Council's special session, Admiral Paul Jenkins stood before world leaders. "Ladies and gentlemen, today humanity has confirmed we are not alone in the universe," he said grimly. "Unfortunately, our first contact did not go well." He showed them the images from the Intrepid, the strange alien ship, the unprovoked attack. Based on what little we understood from their communicatio, 6 months passed since the first meeting with the aliens. On the distant planet Zeloria, homeworld of the Zilari, Supreme Counselor Kirtal addressed the Galactic Confederation's emergency meeting. "The species calls themselves humans," said Kirtal, pointing to images of Earth and its people. "They are from a small blue planet in a forgotten corner of the galaxy. What makes them unusual is how they developed their technology." The representatives of 12 different alien species watched with growing concern as Kirtal continued. "Most civilizations develop space travel first, then weapons. Humans did the opposite. They have nuclear power and advanced missiles, but their spaceships are primitive. This makes them very dangerous. A tall, blue-skinned alien stood up. "How did they defeat your warship? You said their technology is inferior." Kirtal's skin changed color slightly, showing embarrassment. "We're not sure. Our captain reports their ship took damage but managed to escape. They seem to have unusual reaction times and adaptability." The Confederation voted quickly. They would send 30 warships to Earth with a simple message: surrender or be contained. No primitive species with advanced weapons would be allowed to threaten galactic peace. Back on Earth, humans worked day and night to prepare. In the main defense center under the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Paul Jenkins studied the report from the Intrepid one more time. "Their weapons are powerful, but their tactics are predictable," he told his officers. "And thanks to the data we gathered, we found weaknesses in their shields." Science Director Olivia Martinez entered the room carrying a small device. "Admiral, we've made a breakthrough. We studied the debris from their attack and discovered their systems are vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses." "Can we use that?" asked Jenkins. Martinez smiled. "We already built it into our defense ships. It won't disable their vessels completely, but it should give us an edge." In orbit around Earth, 5 human warships waited. They were the best Earth had, fast, heavily armed, and now equipped with the new EMP weapons. Commander Frank Rodriguez sat in the captain's chair of the lead ship, USS Defender. "All ships report ready, sir," said his communications officer. Rodriguez nodded. "Now we wait." They didn't wait long. Space seemed to bend as 30 massive alien ships appeared near the moon. They were arranged in a perfect formation that no human fleet would use. "They're broadcasting, sir," said the communications officer, "in multiple Earth languages." Rodriguez listened to the message. "Primitive humans, your violent nature and dangerous technology threatens galactic peace. Surrender your weapons and accept Confederation rule or be destroyed. You have 1 Earth hour to decide." Admiral Jenkins contacted all 5 ships from Earth Command. "You know the plan. They expect us to either surrender or throw everything we have at them. They don't expect what we're actually going to do." Rodriguez smiled. "Understood, Admiral. Historical naval tactics it is." The alien fleet watched in confusion as the 5 human ships moved into a strange formation. The aliens had always fought in space using 3-dimensional grid patterns. Humans, with their long history of naval warfare on their oceans, knew better. "They're laughing at us," said engineer Alan Parker, looking at the alien communications they had intercepted. "They think 5 ships against 30 is a joke." Lieutenant Nicole Winters checked her boarding team's equipment one last time. "They won't be laughing soon." The human ships suddenly accelerated to full speed. The alien fleet, expecting a standard approach, was caught off guard as the humans executed a maneuver no space fleet had ever tried before. "Fire the EMP devices," ordered Rodriguez. 5 specially designed missiles shot toward the alien fleet. They didn't explode with force, but with invisible electromagnetic pulses that played havoc with alien systems. 6 alien ships went completely dark. Their backup systems would come online soon, but not fast enough. "First phase complete," reported Rodriguez to Earth Command. "Beginning boarding operations." Throughout the alien fleet, confused captains sent the same message to their command ship. "Enemy ship spotted. Humans have entered the battlefield." What had seemed like an easy victory was quickly becoming the Confederation's worst nightmare. The real battle was just beginning. NS. These Xelari are part of something called the Galactic Confederation. They seemed to think our ship was a threat, despite our peaceful approach. A woman in the back raised her hand. "What do we do now, Admiral?" Jenkins looked at her with determination in his eyes. "We prepare. If they come back, and I believe they will, Earth needs to be ready." As people filed out of the meeting, no one noticed a small probe entering Earth's atmosphere. The Xelari were already watching, already planning. The misunderstanding had started a chain of events that would change the galaxy forever. The alien commander stared in disbelief as the small human ships approached. The electromagnetic pulse had disabled 6 of his ships, but he still had 24 left. The humans only had 5 vessels. It should have been an easy victory. Admiral Zrel, the human ships are splitting up, reported his second-in-command. They're targeting our disabled vessels. Let them come, said Admiral Zrel with confidence. Even without shields, our hulls are stronger than anything their weapons can penetrate. The human ships moved with a speed and grace that surprised the aliens. The USS Defender led the attack, firing not at the alien ship's main sections but at their engine nacelles and weapon ports. Commander Frank Rodriguez watched his tactical display with intense focus. Keep hitting their weak points. Don't waste energy on their armored sections. On board the alien flagship, Admiral Zrel received disturbing reports. Sir, they're not trying to destroy our ships, they're boarding them. This was unheard of in modern space combat. No species in the Confederation had attempted boarding actions in over 1,000 years. It was considered primitive and ineffective. Lieutenant Nicole Winters led her team through the airlock they had cut into the alien ship's hull. The aliens had designed their vessels assuming no enemy would ever get inside. This was a serious mistake. Move quickly, she told her team. Remember your training. In their gravity and atmosphere, we have the advantage. The aliens had evolved on a planet with only 0.7 Earth gravity. Humans, with their denser muscles and stronger bones, moved through the ship like giants among children. The aliens fired their weapons, but their aim was poor in the face of human speed. Engine room secured, reported Winters over her comm unit. Their crew is contained. All across the disabled alien ships, human boarding teams took control. The aliens had never encountered a species with such physical strength and endurance. A human could run 3 times faster than the average Zalari and lift nearly 5 times the weight. Back on the USS Defender, engineer Alan Parker monitored the captured alien systems. Commander, I'm starting to understand their technology. If we can reactivate their weapons, we can turn them against their own fleet. Rodriguez smiled. Do it. On Earth, Admiral Jenkins watched the battle with growing hope. They never expected this, he told Science Director Martinez. They thought space combat would be like their simulations. They forgot the most important rule of war. What's that? Asked Martinez. Adapt or die, Jenkins replied. In space, the tide of battle turned dramatically. 2 captured alien ships, now under human control, fired on their former allies. The Confederation fleet, never trained for this scenario, fell into confusion. Admiral Zrel, what do we do? Asked his panicked second-in-command. The humans are inside our ships using our own weapons against us. Admiral Zrel had never faced defeat before. The Confederation had been the unchallenged power in the galaxy for centuries. Order all ships to fall back. We need to regroup. But it was too late for 6 more alien vessels. The humans had launched another EMP attack, disabling their systems just long enough for more boarding parties to enter. Lieutenant Winters led her team through their 3rd alien ship of the day. The aliens, tall and slender with pale blue skin, cowered as the humans approached. We're not here to hurt you, she told them, her translator converting her words. We just want you to understand that humans are not to be underestimated. The alien captain looked up at her with 4 eyes blinking in sequence. What are you? No species should be able to move like that in our gravity. We're humans, she replied simply. We evolved on a world with higher gravity than most. What feels heavy to you feels normal to us. Word spread quickly through the alien fleet. These humans, we 1 month after the battle, a single alien ship approached Earth. This time it came with white lights glowing on its hull, the Confederation symbol for peace talks. The ship was allowed to enter orbit under heavy guard. Ambassador Zilvex of the Galactic Confederation stepped onto Earth soil at the United Nations building in New York. He was tall and thin, with blue-gray skin and 4 eyes that blinked in, an odd pattern. 2 human guards stood nearby, looking much shorter but clearly stronger than the alien. We underestimated your species, said Zilvex through his translator. The Confederation wishes to open proper diplomatic channels. United Earth diplomat Gregory Ramirez nodded politely. We welcome peaceful discussion. We never wanted war. These are 2 leaders walked into a large meeting room where representatives from Earth's nations waited. Security Chief Daniel Howard watched the alien closely. He didn't trust this sudden change in attitude. "My leaders were surprised by your victory," said Zilvex. "No species has defeated a Confederation fleet in over 300 years. "Perhaps you should have talked first and shot later," replied Ramirez calmly. The peace talks began, but they were not what they seemed. While Zilvex spoke of friendship and trade, his true mission was to learn more about these dangerous humans. In another part of the building, Dr. Samantha Graves studied data from the captured alien ships. She was a language expert who had been working day and night to understand the alien computer systems. "This is odd," she said to her assistant. "These messages don't match what the ambassador is telling us." She had found hidden communications that talked about a species called the Drakari. According to the files, the Drakari were the ones who had told the Confederation that humans were dangerous and should be attacked. "We need to tell the diplomat," said her assistant. Dr. Graves nodded. "But we need to be careful. We don't know if this ambassador is part of the deception." Back in the meeting room, the talks continued. Zilvex was impressed by the humans despite himself. They asked intelligent questions and showed a level of adaptability he had rarely seen. "Your species evolved in a high-gravity environment," he noted. "That explains your physical strength, but your mental adaptability is equally impressive." Ramirez smiled. "Humans have always been good at thinking on our feet." As they spoke, Security Chief Howard received an urgent message from Dr. Graves. He read it, then discreetly passed a note to Ramirez. The diplomat's expression didn't change, but he shifted the conversation. "Ambassador Zilvex, have you ever heard of a species called the Drakari?" The alien's four eyes blinked rapidly, and what humans had learned was a sign of surprise. "Where did you hear that name?" "From your ship's computer," said Ramirez. "We know they encouraged the attack on our world. We know they lied to you about us." Zilvex was silent for a long moment. "The Drakari are advisors to the Confederation. They have been with us for thousands of years. They guide our expansion into the galaxy, or control it," suggested Howard. The alien seemed troubled. "What exactly did you find in our computers?" Dr. Graves entered the room with a data pad. "Communications showing the Drakari ordered the attack on Earth. They specifically told your people to lie about human aggression." For the first time, Zilvex appeared uncertain. "This cannot be true. The Drakari have always protected the Confederation." "Or used it," said Ramirez. "Perhaps they fear humans because we're not as easy to control as other species." A tense silence filled the room. Finally, Zilvex spoke. "If what you say is true, then both our peoples have been manipulated." "Then perhaps," said Ramirez, "we should work together to find the truth." The peace talks took on a new meaning. A tentative trust began to form between humans and Zilari, but both sides knew that powerful forces might be working against them. The Drakari, whoever they were, had tried to start a war, and they might try again. As night fell over New York, Zilvex looked out at the city lights. He sent a coded message to his ship. "Humans are not what we were told. Trust nothing from the Drakari. We may need new allies soon. Weren't just clever with their tactics, they were physically superior in ways no one had anticipated." The phrase, "enemy ship spotted, humans have entered the battlefield," now carried a new meaning. It was a warning of doom. As the remaining alien ships retreated, Commander Rodriguez received a message from Admiral Jenkins. "Well done. You've just shown the galaxy that humanity will not be conquered easily. The battle was over, but the war had just begun." The Galactic Confederation would return with a better plan, but now they knew the truth. Humans were unlike any species they had encountered before. Intelligence Officer Amanda Cruz moved silently through the shadows of the Drakari outpost. The station orbited a small moon in a distant star system, far from both Earth and Zilari space. Getting here had been difficult, but the information they needed was worth the risk. 2 weeks had passed since Ambassador Zilvex had returned to the Confederation with news about the Drakari deception. Not all aliens believed him. The Drakari had friends in high places. Cruz pressed her body against a wall as two guards walked past. The Drakari looked nothing like the Zalari. They were short and stocky with thick gray skin that looked like armor. Their forearms gave them an advantage in combat, but humans still had greater strength. When the guards passed, Cruz slipped into the main computer room. She placed a small device on the central terminal and watched as it bypassed the security. "I'm in," she whispered into her comm unit. "Downloading their files now." The files told a frightening story. The Drakari had ruled the Galactic Confederation from the shadows for thousands of years. They were an ancient species that believed they were superior to all others. They had kept the Confederation species fighting among themselves so none would grow too powerful. Then humans had appeared. The Drakari had studied Earth from afar and realized humans were different. Humans adapted quickly. They solved problems in ways the Drakari couldn't predict. This made them dangerous. Most alarming was what Cruz found next. Plans for a biological weapon designed to target humans specifically. The Drakari planned to release it on Earth within the month. "I've got what we need," she told her team. "But we've got a bigger problem than we thought." Back on Earth, Captain John Bennett prepared the USS Defiant for its mission. The ship was new, built with technology learned from the alien vessels they had captured. Its mission was to go deep into Confederation space and find proof of the Drakari conspiracy that other species would believe. "Ship ready for launch, Captain," reported his first officer. Bennett nodded. "Take us out." As the Defiant left Earth's orbit, engineer Kevin Williams worked in his lab on the lower deck. He had been studying the information Cruz had sent ahead about the biological weapon. "The good news," he told the captain over the comm, "is that human immune systems are different from what the Drakari expected. We're more resistant to their weapons than they think." "Can you make a defense against it?" asked Bennett. "Already working on it," replied Williams. "Human adaptability for the win." The Defiant traveled for 5 days before reaching Confederation space. They moved carefully, avoiding detection as they gathered evidence of Drakari manipulation. On the 6th day, alarms blared throughout the ship. "Captain, we've got multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel," reported the tactical officer. "Drakari vessels. They've found us." Bennett frowned. "How?" "We were careful." A communication came through. The face on the screen was gray with 4 yellow eyes and a mouth full of sharp teeth. "Humans," said the Drakari commander. "Did you think we wouldn't notice your spies? Your species is young and foolish. And you're manipulative and dishonest," replied Bennett. "We know what you've been doing to the Confederation." The Drakari commander smiled, showing those sharp teeth. "It doesn't matter what you know. We've decided your species is too dangerous to exist. Our attack fleet is already on its way to your world." The communication ended. Bennett immediately sent an emergency message to Earth. "All ships, this is Captain Bennett. Drakari attack fleet headed for Earth, numbers unknown. Assume hostile intent and probable biological weapons. On Earth, Admiral Jenkins received the warning. He ordered all defense ships to prepare for battle. The peace that had just begun to form was already breaking. In orbit around Earth, Ambassador Zilvex received the news with alarm. He contacted his homeworld immediately. "The Drakari are launching, the space above Earth filled with ships from a dozen worlds." The Zalari had kept their word, bringing 20 warships to stand with humanity. 4 other species from the Confederation had joined them after seeing the evidence of Drakari manipulation. Commander Susan Miller stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship, looking at the strange mix of alien vessels now under her command. She had never expected to lead such a fleet. "It's amazing how quickly things change," said her Zalari advisor. "A month ago we were enemies." Miller nodded. "Nothing unites people like a common threat." The combined fleet practiced working together, but it wasn't easy. Each species had different tactics and technology. The humans focused on teaching their allies about unpredictability and adaptive strategy. "The Drakari expect us to fight like the Confederation has always fought," Miller told the alien captains during a briefing. "We won't do that. We'll use human tactics, which means being unpredictable. Some alien captains doubted this approach, but Ambassador Zilvex supported Miller. The humans defeated our best fleet using methods we never expected. Trust their experience. On the third day of preparation, the long-range sensors detected movement. The Drakari fleet had arrived, and it was massive. Over 100 ships of various sizes moved toward Earth in perfect formation. They've brought technology we've never seen before, said Zilvex with surprise. The Drakari have been hiding their true capabilities from the Confederation. The Drakari ships were sleek and black, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. They moved with incredible speed and precision. All ships, battle positions, ordered Miller. Remember the plan. Stay flexible and watch for my signals. The human and alien fleet spread out in what looked like a random pattern. The Drakari, expecting a standard Confederation defense formation, hesitated slightly. A message came through from the Drakari command ship. Surrender the humans to us, and the rest of you will be forgiven for your rebellion. Miller exchanged glances with Zilvex. They still think they can divide us. They've ruled through division for thousands of years, replied the ambassador. They don't understand true alliance. The battle began with a flash of light as the Drakari fired first. Their weapons were powerful, destroying 3 allied ships immediately. But they missed the human vessels, which moved with surprising speed. Pilot. Eric Warren flew his small fighter between 2 massive Drakari warships. His hands moved across the controls with a speed that amazed his Zalari co-pilot. How do you react so quickly? Asked the alien. Warren smiled. Human reflexes. Plus a lot of video games as a kid. The human fighters targeted specific points on the Drakari ships, places where sensors showed potential weaknesses. Meanwhile, the larger Allied vessels provided covering fire. On the Earth flagship, Science Officer Laura Daniels worked frantically to combine human and Zalari shield technology. The Drakari weapons were stronger than expected, and the shields were failing. I need more power to the central matrix, she told her team. The Zalari crystalline structure can amplify our energy field if we calibrate it correctly. A nearby explosion rocked the ship. Time was running out. Got it, shouted Daniels finally. Activating now. A blue-green field spread around the human ship stronger than before. The next Drakari blast hit the shield and dissipated. It's working, called Miller. Share the shield modifications with our allies. The tide of battle began to turn. The Drakari still had superior numbers, but their predictable tactics worked against them. They had never faced an enemy that thought like humans. After 3 hours of intense fighting, both sides pulled back to regroup. The combined fleet had lost 27 ships. The Drakari had lost 35. We can hold them off, Miller told Admiral Jenkins via secure communication. But we can't defeat them here. There are too many, and they keep adapting to our tactics. Jenkins nodded grimly. Then we need to take the fight to them. Our intelligence has located their home system. If we can strike there, we might force them to withdraw. A counterattack, asked Miller, right into the heart of Drakari space. Exactly, replied Jenkins. They won't expect it. They think they have us trapped here defending Earth. It was a dangerous plan, but it might be their only chance. As repairs were made to the damaged ships, Miller gathered her best officers. They would need every bit of human ingenuity to succeed in what came next. An attack on Earth. If they succeed, we will be next. I recommend we send ships to aid the humans. The Galactic Confederation was splitting. Some believed the Drakari, others sided with the humans and Zalari. A conflict that had started with a simple misunderstanding was about to become a war that would reshape the galaxy. Admiral Jenkins led the assault force toward the Drakari homeworld. 30 ships, a mix of human and alien vessels, jumped through space using technology that had been improved by combining human creativity with alien science. The Drakari fleet attacking Earth had no idea that their own home was now in danger. We're approaching the outer defense perimeter, reported the navigator. No sign they've detected us yet. Jenkins nodded. Good. The element of surprise is everything. The plan was bold, perhaps too bold. While the main fleet defended Earth, this strike force would attack the Drakari homeworld directly. If successful, it would force the Drakari to pull back their attack on Earth to defend their own planet. The Drakari have ruled from the shadows for thousands of years, Jenkins told his officers. That means they've grown comfortable. Comfortable. Enemies make mistakes. Ambassador Zilvex, who had insisted on joining the mission, agreed. They don't expect anyone to strike at their heart. They believe they are untouchable. As they approached the Drakari system, sensors showed only minimal defenses. The Drakari had committed most of their forces to the attack on Earth. They've left themselves vulnerable, said Jenkins with satisfaction. Prepare all ships for battle. Launch when ready. The human-led fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the Drakari homeworld. It was a dark planet with towering cities that gleamed with metallic light. The few Drakari ships in orbit were caught completely by surprise. Enemy ships spotted. Humans have entered the battlefield, came the panicked message from a Drakari station. The phrase that had once been a warning to other aliens was now a cry of fear. Marine Commander Charles Wilson prepared his troops for the ground assault. They would land near the main Drakari government building while the fleet engaged the orbital defenses. Remember your training, he told his soldiers, a mix of humans and alien allies. The Drakari are physically stronger than humans, but slower. Use your speed to your advantage. The landing craft shot toward the planet's surface as the space battle raged above. The Drakari fought back fiercely, but they were outnumbered for the first time in their history. On the planet, Wilson led his team through the streets of the Drakari capital. The buildings were enormous, built to intimidate other species. The few Drakari civilians they encountered fled in terror. They've never been invaded before, said a Zilari soldier. They don't know what to do. Wilson's team reached the central government tower. Inside, they found the Drakari leadership frantically destroying files and communications. Stop where you are, ordered Wilson, his weapon raised. It's over. The lead Drakari, larger than the others with 6 arms instead of 4, turned slowly. You think you've won, human? You understand nothing of our power. He pressed a button on his desk. Alarms blared throughout the city. What did you do? Demanded Wilson. The Drakari smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Activated our final defense. If we cannot rule the galaxy, no one will. A doomsday weapon that will destroy this entire sector of space. Communications specialist Diane Torres worked quickly at a captured terminal. Commander, he's telling the truth. I'm picking up massive energy readings from beneath the planet's surface. Some kind of weapon is powering up. Torres connected to the fleet above. We need to broadcast this to all Confederation worlds. They need to know what the Drakari were willing to do. As Torres sent the message, Lieutenant Ryan Phillips studied the weapon schematics that appeared on the screen. His eyes widened with surprise. Wait a minute, he said. This weapon, it's designed to create a radiation wave that would kill most species. But humans? What about humans? Asked Wilson. We're more resistant to radiation than most species, replied Phillips. Our planet has higher background radiation than most habitable worlds. That's why we evolved stronger cell repair mechanisms. Wilson understood immediately. You're saying we might survive what would kill the Drakari and other aliens? Not just survive, said Phillips. I think we can disable it. The control systems have a flaw. They never expected a species with our radiation resistance to get this close. Captain Ethan Wright led a small team deep into the underground facility beneath the Drakari capital. The mission was simple, but nearly impossible. Disable the doomsday weapon before it could activate fully. How much time do we have? Wright asked as they moved through dark corridors. Engineer Michelle Peterson checked her scanner. 15 minutes, maybe less. The radiation levels are already rising. The team wore special suits, but they wouldn't protect them for long. Only their natural human resistance to radiation gave them any chance of success. The control room should be ahead, said Peterson. The Drakari designed this place assuming no one could survive the radiation fields to get this far. They reached. A massive door sealed tight. Wright placed explosive charges while Peterson worked on bypassing the security system. I'm in, she said just as Wright was about to detonate the explosives. The door slid open with a hiss. Inside was a chamber filled with glowing green energy. At the center stood a crystal column pulsing with power. Drakari bodies lay on the floor. The radiation had already killed them. "The Drakari sacrificed their own people to start this," said Wright with disgust. "They were willing to die just to destroy everyone else." Peterson moved to a control panel. "Their own weapon killed them. They underestimated how quickly the radiation would build." She studied the controls, her face grim. "Captain, I can't shut it down from here. The process is too far along." Wright looked at the crystal column. "Then we changed the plan. Can you redirect it?" Peterson's eyes widened. "Yes. If we reprogram the targeting system, we can focus the energy burst on a single point instead of spreading it across the sector. Like the Drakari flagship," suggested Wright. Peterson nodded and began working quickly. Her fingers flew across the alien controls as sweat beaded on her forehead. The radiation was affecting her despite her natural resistance. "Almost got it," she said, voice strained. "Just need to link the targeting system to the fleet's positional data." Above them, in space, Admiral Jenkins watched as the Drakari reinforcements arrived. The massive Drakari flagship led hundreds of warships toward the planet. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Captain Wright's team," reported a communications officer. "Put them through," ordered Jenkins. Wright's voice came through with static. "Admiral, we can't stop the weapon, but we're redirecting it. Get all our ships away from the Drakari flagship. When it hits, there's going to be a massive explosion." Jenkins immediately ordered the fleet to pull back. The Drakari, seeing this retreat, pressed forward aggressively. "They think we're running," said Jenkins with a smile. "They have no idea what's coming." On the planet's surface, Peterson finished the recalibration. "It's done. The weapon will target their flagship in 2 minutes. We need to get out of here. Now." The team ran back through the corridors as the facility began to shake. The energy buildup was reaching critical levels. They reached their shuttle just as the ground split open behind them. Peterson piloted the craft up through the atmosphere as Wright contacted the fleet. "All ships clear the area. Weapon firing in 30 seconds." The human and allied ships moved away at maximum speed. The Drakari fleet, still unaware of the danger, continued their advance. A beam of brilliant green energy shot from the planet's surface, striking the Drakari flagship. Directly, for a moment, nothing happened. Then the massive ship exploded with blinding light. The energy wave spread outward, disabling every Drakari ship it touched. When the light faded, the Drakari fleet drifted powerless in space. Their own weapon had defeated them. Across the galaxy, Confederation worlds received the transmissions Diane Torres had sent. They saw the truth about the Drakari and their willingness to destroy everything rather than lose power. One by one, the remaining Confederation species broke away from Drakari influence. A new alliance formed, with humans playing a central role despite being newcomers to the galactic stage. 1 month later, representatives from 27 species gathered on Earth to sign the new Galactic Charter. Ambassador Zilvex, now the Zilari leader, spoke to the assembly. "We have entered a new age," and he said. "For too long the Drakari kept us divided and afraid. It took the humans to show us a better way." The phrase "enemy ship spotted, humans have entered the battlefield" took on a new meaning throughout the galaxy. Once a warning of danger, it now meant hope had arrived. Humanity's unique evolution had created a species with extraordinary resilience and adaptability that had forever changed the course of galactic history. Wilson contacted Admiral Jenkins with the news. A small team might be able to disable the weapon from inside while the fleet held off the remaining Drakari forces. "Do it," ordered Jenkins. "And hurry. We've just detected the main Drakari fleet breaking off their attack on Earth. They're heading back here at full speed." The fate of not just Earth but the entire sector of the galaxy now rested on whether humans could use their unique biology to stop a doomsday weapon. The clock was ticking.